This episode is brought to you by movies that are likely to come out in 2026.
But slated for 2025. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, show where you come for your rambling, geeky download. My name's Tommy, and I am delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host, who is across the pond. It's our resident soothsayer of the pod, DL. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. Not the way I used to be when I had 3-4 pints. I used to be able to walk up and just, it could conquer the world. But nowadays,
someone's getting old, buddy.
5 pints over 4 hours is apparently too much for me. Jeez Louise.
I think you can officially say you've hit your mid-30s now.
Yeah, I mean, if not by number, definitely by my ability.
Your emotional range has hit mid-30s.
Actually, the worst because, Gil and I were talking about this. You basically drink, you don't get drunk, you don't feel anything except for the pain the next day. So it's like, what is the point?
Hey, I haven't felt anything in 10 years. I've been emotionally completely shut off for a long time.
Jesus Christ, Thomas. That's
That's my problem.
Yeah,
that's yours. So you've been drinking. What you been doing? How's London?
We did. It was good. We went to I went to the game, the Tottenham game last night.
Tottenham. I love. We're not a sports podcast. We're not going to talk about sports, but I love that you chose the team that's never going to win anything.
Hey,
you've literally it's not like a joke. It's not. I mean, it is a joke, but it's not like, haha, they're never going to win anything. It's like they are never going to win anything. They just do not have the structure.
Every single time I go to a game, they win. So the real answer here, Tottenham owner, is
you
simply just give me free season tickets,
season ticket access,
and
you sort of beat Man City as well, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm 2 for 2.
This guy,
but neither of them were Premier League games, though. That's probably why they suck right now. They were both tournament games, but it is what it is.
Spurs are like the epitome of the team that will go and beat the top 3 teams in the league and then lose to the bottom 6.
Yeah,
that is there.
Yeah, but there's a chance. Exactly. That's why there's always a chance. Not this.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Not this year, because they literally lost 15 in a row.
Yeah, they're in the bottom 6 or something. It's crazy. They are the bottom 6.
They were in the top 6, I think, and then
not anymore.
It all fell apart. I don't know what to tell them, man. All I can say is
give you a season ticket.
Yeah.
That's what you need to tell him. You need to get in there and be like, guys, I'm right here. I'm your lucky charm.
Yeah, this Aussie guy is probably not long for this world. Their coach is an Aussie, and I didn't mean this world, I guess.
Oh, really?
This world being the Premier League.
Fuck. I was like, what's? I was like, bro, what's going to happen to him?
I mean, other than the fact that all the Tottenham all the Tottenham fans want to assassinate him. So let me pull that back and just say,
nah, it's definitely not his fault. It's definitely the club's fault. Anyway, look, we're getting way off topic.
Yeah.
Dude, I am so excited to talk to you about today's episode. It's actually one of my favorite episodes of the year. I probably say that way too often, but doing our most anticipated and seeing the things that we choose and don't choose is genuinely one of the most exciting things.
Yeah.
But we also push this back more and more every year. I think this is the first one that's going to be coming out in February. This used to be the first one of the year.
People like these kind of things, so we're extending it. They've listened to all the ones that came out in January. Yeah, and now they're like, man, you know what? I wish I didn't have to wait till next January to get the most anticipated. And now, let me tell you, folks, we have an answer for you. We have a solution.
You don't have to wait
till February 4th. Or whatever.
Well, some of the movies we inevitably end up picking end up coming out 2 years later anyway. So we're really just soothsaying here. We're pushing it back so that you guys have it at the right time. That's all that's happening.
True. I mean, do we want to kick off with our last year's picks? Maybe is that how? Or
oh, maybe we should. Well, why don't we preface the episode with what we talked about last year? What did you have?
Yeah,
do you even remember at this point?
No, I do. I do. I had there was something about blatantly literal titles to movies that really that I had going for me. Dune 2, yep, it's a movie. About sands.
Yeah, sand dunes. Like what you're doing there.
Yeah, that one lands. That one's a pretty
one
cool name actually, and it had the ambigram with the U and the anyway.
Also the font it was in. Let's talk about fonts here. Let's get real geeky. The font was beautiful.
One name that probably they shouldn't have gone so literally with was Bike Riders. I think we've talked about this. It's really kind of...
We did a pod on it.
It's a pretty lame name for a gangster movie about, motorbikes. It just sounds really lame.
Yeah, motorbike gangs who beat each other up and kill people. It's a good movie from memory. Was it a good movie?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's just kind of like bike ride. I just keep thinking about like a tricycle with little tassels on the side.
It makes me think of Biker Mice from Mars. Do you remember that show?
No, I never saw it.
Oh my god, fucking hell. Kids TV shows back in the day were wild. And they were all like, they all stole from each other. So Biker Mice from Mars was like 3 mutant mice that became man-size and drove Harley Davidsons and beat up bad guys. It's like, what the fuck was... Like, there was so much cocaine in the writers' rooms in Cartoon Network. So much cocaine.
It was like Cat Dog and all these weird fucking movies.
Yeah.
There's so many.
They're like...
what about that one?
It's like, all right, guys, what's the big idea? One guy's like, all right, I got it, guys. It's a guy.
Yeah.
He's super jacked with a big quiff.
Yeah.
And he lives with a child who's his best friend, and he just hits on chicks the whole episode. That's literally Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, I know. I think I've seen the meme where they make fun of that, where it's literally like...
Yeah.
But there's the other ones, even when I was growing up, man. Like, what's that? Ren and Stimpy or something?
Oh my god, that one's terrifying.
Fuck, that was a creepy show. I never wanted to watch that. It was always on.
All of them were.
Yeah, my next movie though.
It
was always on. It was always the one on.
Sorry.
My next one was the sequel to Nosferatu 1. It was Nosferatu 2. No, just...
Dude, we left that gold on the table last week. We finished recording and I was like, we missed out on so many jokes. Like, my brain just went, you idiot.
Nosferatu is coming soon.
Nosferatu.
Anyway.
Sounds like a really bad house music act where there's 3 of them.
Yuck. There was only one vampire, spoiler, in Nosferatu.
Or maybe in Nosferatu 3 there could be more vampires. Let's bring them all back. We'll put Dracula in there as well. Count Chocula. We'll put... Let's find all the Draculas from kids' TV shows.
Terrible film. This came out, though. This was my most anticipated 2 years in a row.
You had one that came out. I'm impressed.
And so the first 3 were bangers. They literally...
They all came out so far.
All came out, all pretty good movies. Then it gets kind of weirder from here.
Pretty good. They're not the best movies, but they're pretty good. I had a good time with them. They could have been better.
Joker 2, he could have been better. And that was...
Oh, wow.
That was my 4th pick, which honestly,
Oh, my day.
Not a bad pick, dude. Just sometimes you're wrong, like as was the entire premise of this movie. Sometimes they make mistakes and you make one called Joker 2, and that's what we watched.
I think it's fine to say that we were somewhat scathing about that film.
I think it's fine to say that it didn't need to exist. Much like my 5th movie, Imaginary Friends, which don't really exist, called If.
Interesting.
I couldn't...
Did you even see that film?
I couldn't tell you if I liked this one because I didn't see it. So clearly, very anticipated.
Well, funnily enough, actually, I'm getting way ahead of our usual segment. What have we been up to? But I actually watched that the other day. Me and the partner sat down and watched it. So
yeah.
I don't know if it would fit into your... I don't know if it should have fit into your most anticipated 4. Maybe we ran out of movies, even though there were a lot of good ones last year. I enjoyed it. It was very heartfelt. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a kid's movie. It is. It's absolutely a kid's movie. But that's totally fine. It's Ryan Reynolds trying his best to be in a kid's movie and not swear. The twist is super obvious as well. Super obvious twist. Like, I got it from the trailer. I'm sure you did too. But like, it was enjoyable. I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm not in love with it. I enjoyed it. It was
about imaginary friends.
Yes. But it's like Steve Carell's one of the imaginary friends. This is a bunch of like really, really good actors in it who are like the voice cast and stuff.
Nice. Maybe I'll just imagine I watched it. Sweet.
Shall I tell you mine?
Yeah,
quick?
tell me
mine
yours.
from last year were... I had actually some really good ones. I had The Fall Guy. I had Civil War. 2 films we talked about on the podcast. Actually, we talked about all of mine except one on the podcast. I had Fall Guy. I had Civil War. I had Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I had Deadpool 3. And one which we're going to be talking about again today, as is tradition for this episode. Something has to fall over into the next one. We have to be circular. I had Mickey 17, which is probably coming out this year and not last year. So I'll talk about that again in a bit. But you must have had a hard pick of the litter there. But then Joker 2 could have gone anywhere.
Didn't we? Well, we did watch Joker 2 and we did record on it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did a podcast about it. So I love your memory's just gone.
4 out of 5 for each of us. We went and saw the movies for the most.
We did our best
for the most part. Minus if.
We do this for content and for you beautiful people. And if you lovely people do want to stick around and hear us banter about our weeks, feel free, but there will be time codes in the description, as always, supplied by friend of the show and editing genius, Mr. Matthew Bliss for mbpod.com. But while you're there and you're flicking around, you're looking at all that great work he does. He's putting notes in there. He's letting you know when things are going to happen. He's letting you know things that we talk about. Why don't you just give us that 5-star? You can do it right there in app. You have your app open. DL, you've given us 5 stars this week, haven't you?
Yes.
Did you just put fake glasses on? What just happened?
I just wanted to see if you'd say
you just became a hipster out of nowhere. I
wanted to see if you'd say something, and you clearly did. Wait,
are they real?
They are real. And you want to know something funny about these? I got them because I actually do need glasses, like in a blue light, and like. I got them. For some reason, I thought they were like, I was like, oh, these will be nice to like read at night. Like, no one will see me. And then that stupid Dahmer fucking documentary came out, and these are the Dahmer glasses. Like, I have Dahmer reading glasses, and I lost all my other players.
Bro.
These are like the only ones. So you can enjoy me in these right now.
So in your second persona, let's say, as Jeffrey Dahmer Jr., have you given the pod 5 stars this week or passed the pod?
I've killed people that have.
Oh, they're no use. We need them listening.
No, they still count as reviews. I asked them before. Is it okay if I leave a review in your honor?
We don't condone any of this behavior, but if you do happen to have someone else's phone or even your own, please give us a subscribe and a 5-star and all the things that help with algorithms and whatnot. We would really appreciate it if you did. DL, I know you've been dying to ask me, but what have you been up to?
I went to that game. That was awesome.
Oh, actually, before you start talking about the game, can I interject with an update on one of our new segments that I can't remember if we talked about, but is a fun new segment, which is I sat through a thing my partner was watching.
This is
engaging
stuff.
I have thoughts.
Yeah, this is engaging stuff. This new segment.
No. Right. I think for anyone who has a partner, there's always going to be times when they're watching a show, a movie, or whatever, and you are just
you want to kill yourself,
interested in watching it, and you just want to stop. But I wanted to call this one out very specifically because my partner decided from memes on TikTok and things that she wanted to watch a 1997 movie called Meet Joe Black. Have you ever seen Meet Joe Black?
Heard of it. I have no idea what it is, though.
Okay. The premise, if we're talking about cocaine writers' rooms, premise is the perfect cocaine writer's room. Effectively, this guy who is Brad Pitt meets this girl. It's a meet cute. They have a spark. They're in a coffee shop. They're walking away from each other. It's like, will they, won't they? Will they ever see each other again? This might be the last time they see each other. And as they're walking, Brad Pitt gets hit by 2 cars in possibly the funniest way you could ever imagine Brad Pitt getting hit by 2 cars. He like pings off. He's like, ping, ping. It's like a pinball machine. It is beautiful. It's gold. I promise you, if you go and watch it, you will have a good time. Just because you've seen Brad Pitt getting hit by a car sometimes.
Just that.
But now, the reason why I want to talk about this film is because the whole concept of the film is that death is coming for this lady's father, right?
Okay.
And to do so, he decides that he wants to be in his life for a short amount of time first. And the person he chooses as a body, as someone who is recently deceased, is this guy she's just met in a coffee shop. So Brad Pitt then becomes a personification of death in this film. This girl obviously doesn't know this, whereas Anthony Hopkins, by the way, some good actors in this. Anthony Hopkins does know, so he knows that he's the personification of death. He's along for a ride, giving him more time while death takes a little holiday. This chick falls in love with death. It is the weirdest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. And I remember, I saw this in the freaking cinema. I remember this. And I think the strangest part possibly about this is that death fucks. He hooks up with this chick as Brad Pitt. So there is a beautiful, weird juxtaposition in that death is creating life. And I'm just like, I had to tell someone about this. I remember I was talking to, there's a bit in it, I was talking to one of my coworkers at work who's younger than me. I think he was born in 2000, so he would have been born after this came out, which really hurts me inside to know that he's 25 and was born in 2000. Those two things don't make sense in my head. And he's good dude called Ethan. He does like a Rastafarian voice as a joke sometimes in the office, like
important detail.
Aping. Yeah, well, it is. There's a reason for that. He's like aping like different movies and stuff, and making fun of certain like lines in films. And there's a bit in this when Brad Pitt as Death goes into the hospital where the main lead actress works, and this lady gets wheeled in on a wheelchair. This old Rastafarian woman. I can't look at this. There's glasses on. It's hilarious. This old lady Rastafarian woman gets wheeled in a wheelchair, and immediately she's wigged out. She's like, this guy be bad or whatever, and he's like Brad Pitt with the straightest face, right? With the straightest face, he's like, rascal woman, you stop that. And it's like the funny, like I just literally, like this is how this came up in conversation. I was talking to a friend of the show, Ethan, in work, and he was doing the silly accent, so I brought up this scene with Brad Pitt and like trying to explain the concept of this movie, Death Fucks, to anyone younger than like 35, even you, like, is fucking baffling. And like talking about cocaine writers' rooms, I thought you would find that hilarious, so I had to share that with you.
I don't think it's all that crazy that somebody would fuck Death
in the 90s
if it looked like Brad Pitt. I don't know.
Brad Pitt with no social skills. Let's call it
hot
that.
Take.
I guess Brad Pitt then.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I cut you right off there. What have you been up to?
Dude, I went to that game. I don't think I've done actually that much. I was like thinking about it, but then I got lost in your Meet Joe Black story. What else? We watched Baby Reindeer, which was
talked about Baby Reindeer.
We finished that, which is like, I think this guy just like has issues. Did you see it?
No shit.
Did you see
it? No
shit.
Another thing that I sort of semi-watched while the partner was watching it.
Yeah. Oh, maybe did I talk about this last week? I don't remember.
I don't think you did.
Sweet.
No. It's weird.
It's super weird and like kind of disturbing that he would like put this out about himself. And I think there's some kink that he has about humiliating himself because like it's a very, very weird, humiliating show. I can't say I recommend it, but I can't also say I wasn't like keen to finish it, which is like weird.
Interesting.
You know?
It seems like pretty well constructed and like pretty well written and stuff. And like the guy's in it.
I know. Which is even weirder to me.
It's I get it. Like I understand why people watched it. It's interesting. It's an interesting character study on someone who clearly has problems.
Yeah.
But like it was not for me at all. I didn't like it's just like stuff like that. I'm just say no.
Seriously, just be done with
it. Walk away. The bit where she gives him like a hand job in the street. I was like, yeah, it's like just like push her off or some. You know what I mean? Like she gave him a hand job and she's next to a river. Just push her in not a canal. Like push her in a canal.
Well, he's clearly getting off on something
out of it. Yeah.
Is the point, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's true. What did you think of it then? Would you recommend it?
I guess it's like a good, like, if your partner is into like true crime and you're into like dramatized, like it's a good middle ground for couples, I would say. So I would recommend it for that. But I didn't love it.
Yeah, I was the same. My partner did. She burnt through it. I was in a room for maybe 70% of it, and I didn't love it. I did a thing this week that I think we've talked about a couple of times off air. It's been coming out weekly. And it's called The Agency. Did I talk about this on the podcast already?
I think you have either told me or maybe you might have mentioned it briefly, but not like
I've definitely told you in our real life. We do talk about things not on the podcast. It's Michael Fassbender. It's a crime, espionage, thriller. It's awesome. It's so freaking good. It's a spy show it's a slow burn thing. It's got like it's got a really interesting premise, effectively. It's like the CIA, it's their London office. It's about an agent who was a field agent deep undercover for a long time, comes back to reality. And it's about him trying to reintegrate into society. It's about the things that come back with him from his deep undercover. It's about new agents. It's about there is like a key core story to it, which is they lose an agent in the field, and Michael Fassbender is the best at this, but it's about him potentially being compromised by things from his past and the future, and it feels very much like there's different timelines happening all at once in this. It doesn't quite end up that way, but it's really satisfying, the ending, and there is a twist that I absolutely did not see coming at all at the end. I really liked it. It's really good. I mean, Michael Fassbender's great, right?
He is good. He's really good. Like, even in bad movies, I still want to go see him if he's in it.
Same.
He's one of
he
those
doesn't do
actors.
The best American accent, though. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. I don't think
it's not bad. You know, I'm an accent guy.
Yeah, I don't know if he does a good American accent. I'm not.
Well, you can check it out.
I don't think I've ever heard him do one,
and it's good.
Okay,
you will have done. You will, because you've seen them X-Men movies he was in. He did a semi-American accent, but this one he is really trying to be American in this one. He's really going for it. But it's good. I like it a lot. I like everyone who was in it. It's got Jeffrey Wright in it. It's got Richard Gere in it somehow.
Isn't he dead?
No, he's in the agency. I just told you that. He's writing this TV show.
I thought he was dead.
He's super old, though.
Okay. Maybe it was one of those false,
check it out.
Richard Gere died.
Highly recommend.
But he didn't actually die.
Yeah. Clickbait headlines. He's dead to me.
Yeah. No, he's not.
It's been renewed for a second season, by the way, as well. You should check it out. It's really good. Highly recommend.
No, I've heard it's on the Prestige TV podcast, so I know it's probably quite good. They only cover the good stuff.
A bunch of these came out at the same time. Yeah, there was Black Doves on Netflix, which we've watched. I'll talk about that another time. And there was The Jackal, which was on HBO, I think. One of them, and everyone's banging on about this, The Jackal, and it is nothing compared to this, The Agency. The Agency, there's too many there's. Agency is it's a superior show by a long way. Slow burn though, got to give it time. It's good.
Okay.
What else have you been up to?
I've been reading The Count of Monte Cristo, a classic. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Okay.
Have you heard of The Count of Monte Cristo?
I have heard of it. Give me more details.
It's a revenge story.
Okay.
I'm sticking to my guns of trying to either read a nonfiction or a classic literature fiction to keep me grounded in between my high fantasy, high sci-fi fiction stuff. I enjoy it.
But have you carried on writing then? Is it helping you with your writing process?
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime you're reading stuff that's inspiring or well written, I think it does help if you're paying attention. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Even though it is these literature books, that some parts of the way the story is told is outdated naturally, yeah, right. But also part of it is so fundamentally it's such an archetype story that there's something cool about reading them. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Are there a lot of themes and such that you can bring forward to now and be that's something that really resonates?
Well, I mean, it's like a revenge tale. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to get revenge. Yeah. I want to get revenge on you most days.
But I mean, even if you look at something like Red Rising, I think he always talks about how it's the basic premise is the Song of Persephone or something, or maybe it's not Persephone. It's one of the. Right. It's some classic where it's some Roman, or I'm butchering this, some Greek classic about burying a body and your wife dies. I forget which one it is. People will correct me and tell me, and we can
most have that. Yeah.
Somebody will know. But he basically based it off that, at least initially. So it's
love that
it happens.
Love that. Speaking of writing, I've been trying to get into my writing a little bit. I've started to get into the actual writing of the first chapter. I've decided, and you tell me how your experience of this has been thus far. I've decided that my B plot was basically garbage, and I've just ripped out what my B plot was going to be, and I'm now just trying to rethink of a B plot. It doesn't affect the overall story. The arch of the book isn't going to change, but I think I need something else which is more interesting and going to get people more interested in outside of that main narrative to try and push it forward. So I haven't really talked about it because I don't want to talk too much about it. It might never happen, so I might never actually end up finishing it. Just one of those things of life. But my challenge is that in the next year, 2 years, I want to have written at least the first draft of this book. That's my challenge to myself. But I've it's set in a world that's a little bit the only way I can really think of describing it that's going to be quite universal is Horizon Zero Dawn-esque. Now, the thing I really liked about that world was that there was still technology and stuff there. It was just unknown. They didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know how to use it and such. And I kind of want something that mirrors that in terms of finding some technology that pushes the story forward, and they can do as like a side plot on as they're going along and find out about and understand more about, and it will also push some of the plot beats forward as well. The problem I'm having is that they did that really well in that story. That they've done it so well that I'm almost like everything I think of kind of just apes it, and I'm like, maybe I just need to lean into it a bit more and be like, I have an idea, it is very similar, but maybe I just need to lean into it and be like, well, they've done it well, so let's use it as some inspiration and try and move away with my own personality, putting my own personality to it.
Yeah, I mean, you can write it and then just like feel, if you end up feeling like, oh, it was like I aped it too much, then you can change it, or at the very least it might inspire something else. Generally, when you like write, that's what happens. You'll find, like, I've found that like it takes you to a place you didn't expect. You have to like do it though. You have to like actually try and write.
Yeah, right.
Happen.
Interesting. Yeah, you a discovery writer then? So you saying you're more like a George R. R. Martin?
No, I don't think I'm like in any. I don't think I barely call myself a writer, but I just think that happens no matter what. Like, even when you think you have an outline, you're going to like write something and it'll just like naturally create, you'll have an idea and then that wasn't there before, and it might change where you're heading a bit.
I've got a pretty solid outline, I reckon, in terms of like the general plot, the A to B of it. So like how they get there. I think the only things that are really changed for me are like elements of getting to that point. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty happy with the outline, I reckon.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think sometimes, like, when you're writing a character, it doesn't always go you can't always get them to the place you want in the plot and still be true to the character. So sometimes you have to change the plot. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Like, yeah, that's but like, generally speaking, like, there's certain things that like, I don't know. I have a vague outline, but I have more so have just like big moments that I'm trying to get to, and how I get there, I'm not entirely sure. Half the time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So going back a step, would you recommend your current book?
Yeah, for sure. Count of Monte Cristo. Banger.
Nice.
Especially if you have...
Well, I got one last one. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, especially if you have...
especially.
If you have like a French people in your life, because it's set in France. It's quite fun.
You can talk to them all about that book that they've probably never read.
Yeah, seriously.
My last one is a little bit of a gear change, going a little 180 on what we normally talk about in the podcast. We sat down over the festive period and we watched Paddington. So, dude, it is so interesting. So it's a movie.
GRF, though. It's very GIRF.
Look, everybody talks about Paddington 1 and Paddington 2 as being like absolutely perfect movies.
Like the pinnacle of cinema.
Like, the unbearable weight of massive talent for me says it all. Like, all it does is bang on about Paddington 2 the whole time. I wanted to watch Paddington 2, but I couldn't let myself watch it without having seen Paddington 1. And I really liked it. It's fun. It's not a perfect movie. It's not. I wouldn't, like, if you put down 5 of my favorite movies in front of me, I wouldn't choose this over.
You're saying Paddington is not top 5 for you?
No, but it is a very
controversial
good movie.
take. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Did you think I was going to say Paddington's in my top 5 movies?
It seemed like you were going that way. I mean, I don't know. You watched If last week and Paddington this week, so.
No, this is overtime. These are some things I've done for a little while.
Okay.
This is going back to like the festive period.
Yeah.
I actually watched Paddington when my mum was here, so it was a nice one to have on while she was. But I liked it a lot. I actually genuinely really liked it. Good cast. Everyone's like fun in it. I didn't really read or watch Paddington as a kid, so like my mum knew it from my other brothers and stuff. But I didn't know anything about it. I knew he liked marmalade and he had a hat. I knew those things.
I don't know anything about Paddington.
And
who is this?
There you go. You now know 2 things about Paddington. He is from. It's something like the deepest, darkest Ecuador or something. It's got or the deepest, darkest Amazon. I'm like, well, the Amazon is pretty deep and pretty dark. Like, I don't think you need to throw those 2 things on top.
The stuffed bear is from the deepest, darkest.
He's not
Amazon?
a stuffed bear. He's a real bear.
Oh, I didn't realize. He shouldn't eat marmalade. Real butter is healthier.
Okay, good to know.
So
I'll keep that in mind. Paddington's fun, man. If you have a night with a partner and you just want to put something on that's super lightweight and you don't have to think about it, there's your film.
Got it.
Guys, if there's anything we haven't talked about that you recommend, please hit us up. You can do it at Podcast Assemble on Instagram or thepodcastassemble@gmail.com. We are everywhere. Hit us up. Maybe not X anymore. Twitter, X. I haven't been on there in a long time. I stay away from it. But send us memes, send us news, send us reviews, things we love. We went through, I remember when we went through that gold patch, people sending us memes. Those are my favorite. Those are the best. We actually have a good channel with friends of the show, Till the End of the Line podcast, who almost exclusively send us geeky mainly Marvel or DC focused memes. So you guys are the best. We appreciate you. We appreciate you highly. DL, do you want to preface our main topic that we've already talked about?
It's the main topic theme.
Yeah, we're doing our most anticipated.
Woo-hoo!
And there's some really hot off the trot, great picks this year, I think, if I can say so myself.
I think there's some bangers. And for once, we actually talked about it beforehand, so I didn't just take all the ones you wanted.
Do that every year. But it's okay. I still will back my picks.
Good. For anyone who hasn't listened before, what we do is we effectively pick 5 movies that we're incredibly excited for this year. We talk about when they're coming out, who's doing it, who's in it, why we're excited about it, and we just riff a little bit on why we think this is going to be a good movie and why we think you might want to watch it. DL, what's your first one?
So my first one is Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man.
Oof.
Wake
up!
Wake up!
Wake up, Mr. Worst, Mr. Worst, Mr. Worst.
Why they don't make more of these, I don't know, because I love them.
Because only 1 in 100 is good.
No,
these are like exceptional movies. These are like the pinnacle. Ever since Midsummer Murders, nothing's been this good.
Is it Rhea Johnson? Rhian? Or Rhea?
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Yeah, the dude who did not the Last Jedi. What's the second one?
The shitty Star Wars movie.
I liked the second one.
Of course
the second one was good. It was
terrible.
What are you talking about?
It's such a bad
It's the
movie.
one that tried to change things and went a bit of a different direction. Everybody hates it. I don't understand.
Because you can't try and change things in the middle of an arc.
Just,
they should have hired him for the first one then if they wanted to do that. Don't just start in the middle.
We talked about this. We talked about this a trillion times. He started the Knives Out movies and I think he sold them to Netflix. So this is a continuation of those films. I wonder if this will go to cinemas.
I mean, I loved Shirley. I hope so. You'd think so.
I hope so too. The last one didn't. The last one got like a very limited release. It was only only cinemas for a very small amount of time.
It's got like a very Sherlock Holmesy, like in the sense of like a Sherlock Holmes story is very, very like there's a tone. There's like you're in that world.
Yes,
this has.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying it's the same as that, but it has something similar. Like there's a stylistic art to the way.
There's je ne sais quoi about
it. Yeah. And Daniel Craig is just like, what a name, Benoit Blanc. Is that his name? Benoit.
I love that name.
What a name!
Like we actually watched the second one someone recently again, and it is so good.
Such a good little like detective name. Like I am always impressed when like writers come up with good names that like fit their like it's
good
just,
alliteration.
It's so hard. But yeah, he's done a really good job, and it's like Daniel Craig's always been a good actor. I think people just like forgot because he just kept having to do James Bond movies. But like, I'm glad to have him.
He hated doing them.
Yeah, I'm glad to have him back. And not even that he was like a bad actor in that,
agreed.
But it's just like it wasn't like he clearly wasn't flexing his acting muscles too hard.
No, I think he was very checked out of those movies. What's the trailer? I think he did like an advert for some brand, and I think it was even directed by like Taika Waititi, and it's just him like dancing like through a hotel. And it's the best.
He's so good looking.
It's just Daniel Craig being 100% Daniel Craig. It's the best.
I like the cast. We've got Josh Brolin's in it. I'm always a fan.
Well, he's going to come up later.
He shall. He might.
He will.
Mila Kunis. Interesting. In between fleeing.
Hasn't she moved with Ashton Kutcher? Away to like the UK.
In between fleeing the P. Diddy files.
Yeah,
they're both. Yeah. This will be her last hurrah before her demise, I think. Jeremy Renner.
Surely she's not in them.
One of them. Like, it doesn't bode
Ashton
well for her, even
show.
if he is. Like, point being,
going way off topic here. I saw a conspiracy theory the other day that was about like all this is coming out. All these people have like Hollywood mansions and stuff, and the conspiracy theory was that, and like this is pretty dark, so apologies to any of our listeners, and we support you if you're in LA, but like the LA fires were a means to cover up a bunch of horrible stuff that was going to come out by burning down celebrity homes effectively. It was just a broader, wide brushstroke.
It feels like, given what we've heard about this, like it's all recorded. It'd be digital, wouldn't it? Surely.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. It seems like some of it might be on tapes, and I don't know, man. Like, it just feels... It's just a conspiracy theory. I love a conspiracy theory. This one's a bit dark, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I reckon. I mean, there's definitely some skeletons in some closets that were burned in those fires.
Definitely.
I don't know if it has anything to do with P. Diddy, but like, there's just enough shit going on in Hollywood when enough of that stuff burns that, yeah. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I mean, Jeremy Renner survived his little snowplow incident, which is like he beat the snowplow to survive again and Knives Out. So he's in that, which will be cool. You know, good to see him back, not as little Hawkeye.
I can't wait for this. This would have absolutely been on one of my lists. I really liked the first two. It's just, I like what Rian Johnson's doing with this. He's got like a vision. He's got like a really great character in Benoit Blanc. Like, just keep spinning them out for me, man. Like, don't raise the budget. Keep it as it is. Keep these awesome casts coming through. Keep the twists. That's the problem with these movies for me. Like, the twist is the bit that I'm always like, how are they going to up the ante? Are they going to go way too far? Whereas the last one, I love. The last one where they were like, it's so dumb. I love that whole scene. Is just amazing. You know, where it's like, it is just the guy you expect it to be because he's an idiot and he has to kill the person to get the money. It's great. And I hope he keeps making them.
Same. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed the last one. That's why it's in my top 5. What's your first one?
That's going to be exciting. So I'm going to quickly touch on the one that I talked about last year. We've talked about it a little bit already. I am so excited for Mickey 17. Slated for March 7. This, as we talked about last year, it's Bong Joon-ho. He did things like Parasite. He did a bit of Snowpiercer. It is his first movie since 2019, so this has been coming for a while. And the thing that's really upped the ante for this on me is that this really isn't like a Hollywood movie right now. It really isn't. It is based on a book. It's really weird. It's Robert Pattinson in his freak era. He's gotten really weird recently, and I love that about him.
He's always been weird since he made his money in
fair.
Twilight.
All right, okay, fair. He's deep in that era right now. He's in the pits of it. And Bong Joon-ho's been granted final cut on this. So this could be anything. This could be weird. It could be wild. It is, I mean, if you don't know the basic plot of this, it's about a dude who effectively, it's science fiction, right? It's about a dude who signs up to be an expendable, which means he goes out on the riskiest missions in space. And when he dies, they basically just print a new copy of him with his memories essentially intact up to the point he dies. And there is clearly going to be some hijinks around. They've accidentally printed a second copy, or one of them hadn't died and they've printed a new one. And he meets himself, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. So I just think this is going to throw up some interesting philosophical questions. Bong Joon-ho is very good at that. Parasite being the perfect example of him doing that stuff really well. So it just gets me, man. I'm just excited about this. It's going to be chef's kiss, you know?
I think this is going to be like a weird comedy sci-fi, not as...
I think there's going to be comedy
as
in that
like
for sure.
headbend. Like, there'll be some headbending elements, but I don't think it's going to be as like dramatic as... It just seems like it might be like a dark... I haven't read anything about it. Just the trailer gives me like dark comedy
Just the
vibes.
trailer. Yeah, agreed. 100% agree. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see it as well. Have you ever seen the movie Moon?
Have I seen it, or am I up to it?
No, have you ever seen it, Moon? It kind of...
I haven't seen Moon, no.
Okay, well then I'll stop there. It's a good movie. We should maybe do it.
I've heard about it.
We should maybe do it for the pod one time. I think it's really like it was like an indie film that was like quite good.
Which of our anthologies does it fit into? Let's put it on the list.
Like old sci-fi movies that we haven't seen, like Sunshine.
Okay.
Yeah. If that's an anthology.
All right, let's put it on the list.
Anyway, no, I'm also excited.
Sci-fi movies is definitely an anthology.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your second one?
My second is I guess I'll go with Jurassic World. It's not a new age. It's what is it called? The new one? Does it even have a name?
Jurassic World.
Rebirth or New
Dominion or something?
No, that was the
I don't fucking know.
That was the last one. Anyway, the only reason I'm excited about this, and I'm like kind of half joking, I'm not. It's like a blockbuster, and it probably is going to be bad. But it's got...
I mean, you like a blockbuster.
It's got Scarlett Johansson.
It does.
She has been gone for a while. We're all excited to see her again. And apparently...
We are all excited to see Scarlett Johansson.
Apparently... I thought you were going to say something else there. It was... apparently it's going to be rated R, which could be fun. Like, I would actually be down for like a horror movie, dinosaur movie, like with Jurassic Park. Like, I'd be in.
Bring John Williams back. Bring him back. Yeah, that's what you need. That's how you make these movies better.
Yeah.
He's just about... Are there any details about the movie? Any plot details?
No, just that it looks like it might be R. Not a lot out about it.
I like that. Yeah. Apparently, they're going to be making the dinosaurs more realistic as well, which I hope means they'll have feathers.
They say that every time, and they never do.
Do they?
Literally, there's been like fucking 3 Jurassic Parks in a row where I've heard that was what they're going to do, and they just haven't done it once. I think they gave them like a little bit of...
You cowards!
Yeah, bummer.
Brilliant. All right. My second one is, and we're bringing back an old favorite of the show, I Will Find Him! It is the upcoming Superman's movie, which is coming out on the 11th of July. This has got everything I am excited for. Like, okay, right, so superhero movie fatigue is a thing. It really is. We started this show with an intention to talk a lot about superhero stuff. Very quickly, that changed because we got COVID and superhero movies got boring and the whole thing got screwed up. But this, I might say this is I think this is going to be the best superhero movie in the last 5 years. I think this is the one I'm most excited for since Endgame. It's coming out 11th July. It's obviously written and directed by James Gunn, who is one of my favorite comic book directors, writers. He's phenomenal. Unless you're listening to this in 10 years and James Gunn's been cancelled again, in which case he was a bad guy. We knew it all along. We knew it. We said it here first. I'm really excited for this because I think it's been really hard to get Superman right on film. I think they did a lot of good things in the 70s and 80s, but it was it almost did more of a disservice to him because it was that kind of Superman that can just do anything and be anywhere. And I think it lacked a finesse in storytelling. Definitely the newer ones did, the Zack Snyder ones, and when Brandon Routh was in there. The best Superman stuff for me has been the stuff they've done on TV, where they've got lower budgets and it needs to be about the relationships and about the people in his life. And I think James Gunn has got a phenomenal history and a way of creating really likable characters who also are super. And I think that's exactly what you need from this Superman character. I think there's going to be a lot of other stuff in there. It's properly kicking off this DC universe, which I'm very excited about. Just give me more James Gunn. I need more James Gunn in my life. It's going to be great. It's David Corn Sweat. Millie Alcock's in this. I think she's playing Supergirl. Nathan Fillion, Frank Grillo, I can't say his name. Frank Grillo, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. Like, it's just a good cast as well. I just like everyone in this. I like James Gunn. And so this DC universe, which I really am excited about, I think they've got like a mantra of which is like, if the script isn't right, we're not going to make it. So it's not like the Marvel movies now where they just like, we'll fix it in post. It's like, they're not going to make it until the script's right. And I think that's what I want from my superhero movies. So if you can't tell, I'm very excited for Superman.
I think it'll be good. I just never really was into Superman. He's the most boring of all the major superheroes.
And that's the problem. I just don't think he's been portrayed that well on screen. And I think that's the problem. Like, if I told you I watched, what was that new Superman show? It was like not Superman and Lois. What was it called? There's been one in the last like 2 or 3 years which has been out.
You were talking about it.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was all about, him being, Superman, this icon of the world and everyone depending on him and him having to beat all these threats. And at the same time, he had to take care of his kids and his wife. And it was like a little bit in the future. And it's like, how do you balance those two things? Like, if you're having an argument with your wife and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, a building's about to fall on 3,000 people. Like, how do you balance that? And that's the greatness of Superman, because he just is that good. He just does it.
You just say, literally, babe, I don't have the time for this right now. I'm going to save 2,000 people. And if she complains, then you're like,
you tell me when that's ever worked with your wife.
You really think the fact that I left the light on is more important than me saving these 3,000 people?
That's a quick way to get you a divorce, my man. You keep going with that.
Oh my god.
Anyway, what's your third one, big guy?
That is a great question, and it is Frankenstein, coming out on Netflix.
Oof!
Mainly
this I'm excited for.
Yeah, mainly because it's a very, very famous director. You know him, damn Guillermo del Toro.
You've heard of him.
You may have heard of him, lad.
One day when we get more into our directors we love anthologies, we will do Guillermo del Toro movies, because he is awesome.
He's got a few. The cast is pretty crazy. It's got Oscar Isaac, Charles Dance, Christopher Waltz,
Charles Dance,
Elordi.
Oh, okay.
As the monster.
Yeah. Jacob Elordi. That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I need to Google Jacob Elordi in the background while he's talking.
How do you not know who Jacob Elordi is? He's so famous, so hot right now. He's in that.
He's so hot.
He's
right
in
now.
that like movie that was on Amazon that everybody watched, where there was like a love affair with a grave or something. I never watched it.
Oh yeah, of course. I was just talking about that the other day. Saltburn.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, he's so hot right now.
Yeah. Then there's also.
So it's Frankenstein.
Well, he's the monster, which implies to me that he's Frankenstein? I don't know. We'll see.
No, sorry. So is it? I don't know how much is known about the movie. Is it just the classic Frankenstein story, or is it
a rendition of Frankenstein? I don't think there's no There's no trailers out yet from what I can see.
It's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Got it.
Yeah.
It's the classic. I wonder if it's going to be like modernized. I wonder if it's going to be a period piece. I love what Guillermo del Toro does, so I'm intrigued to know what he does.
It will be a period piece. You can tell from some of the clips, like unless they're just like wearing top hats because that's their interpretation of 2025,
dude.
But maybe fashion trends have changed and we're bringing it back.
Well, I mean, you've got them glasses back. We're going backwards.
You start.
I don't know. What are we doing here?
You go buy a top hat. We'll see if we follow. Based off.
I'm down. I'm 100% down for that. You'll see me next week. I got a top hat on.
Can you just imagine showing up to the office at your fine
doff your hat,
top
Good
200
day,
tech
ladies.
company, just in a top hat.
I don't know who I am
with
today.
the monocle, and you're just like pretend as if nothing is awry. You everyone looks at you. They make comments that you're just like, what? Like I don't understand what you're. Stop.
I mean, you're wearing them glasses and you're expecting no one to say anything to you. So
do I need to call HR? Like, why are you making a deal about the way I look?
What's happening? Yeah.
Anyway,
are you judging me based on my appearance?
Yes, I am. If you will.
You know what? I was just thinking about this. Imagine we obviously watched Nosferatu 1 last week, and this Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is coming out pretty soon with Guillermo del Toro. Imagine if they did that Monsters universe that they've been trying to do forever, but with actually good directors and actually good films.
I don't think there's any world where a Monsters universe works.
It's going to work? I don't think so either. But imagine
starter.
Imagine crashing together Robert Eggers and Guillermo del Toro's visions. That would be insane.
Yeah, it'd be cool, but it's just it's not. Those are both too
totally necessary.
Yeah, just make more movies themselves. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
What's your next?
All right, my third one is a bit of a change in pace, bit of change in direction, and I actually didn't realize this was coming out. So this is one that really clocked my attention. Edgar Wright, who is also another of my favorite directors, is doing a remake / rebootuation of The Running Man. So I don't think this is one you've seen before. I've seen this a long, long time ago. It's a book, right? So it's a book. It's very Lord of the Flies-esque, based in a dystopian future. Then there was a 1987 version of this movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I love stupid action Schwarzenegger movies, goofy stuff. But it's in this dystopian future. It's not future because it's set in 2025, which is fucking terrifying. But it's sort of Lord of the Flies-y. It sort of it almost predicted reality TV. If you think about if you take Lord of the Flies, mix it with something like a Squid Game, somewhere in the middle of those things, with those sort of modern ideals almost, it's that. It's really interesting. And it really just worked. It's silly and nonsensical, the 1987 version. But this cast, I said we're going to be talking about Josh Brolin. This cast sounds great. It's got Glenn Powell, who's in the lead role. So he's obviously not going to be jacked Arnold Schwarzenegger version of the main character, but Glenn Powell's pretty jacked, and he's a beautiful man, so I want to see what he's going to do with this.
He can be.
Right, yeah, of course. He's not going to be steroid, but maybe a bit of HGH. It's Josh Brolin. We said we're going to bring him back. He is back. He's in this too. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the bad guy. It's got Katie O'Brien, Lee Pace in this. I love Lee Pace. He's great. And Michael Cera. So I wonder if Michael Cera's what role he's going to play in this, unless they go for that twist where he's the bad tech billionaire who runs all of the things. It's slated for this year. I'm very excited about this. It's, you know what? I hope it's nothing like the original, but there's definitely a part of me that's I wish this was just a remake of the 1987 version and was just as campy and just as stupid. That would be fucking brilliant.
Anything,
I love campy 80s movies.
Anything that is inspired by Lord of the Flies is all good with me, so.
Yeah, it's got a bit of that in it. I don't know if it is Lord of the Flies. It's probably more, not inspired by, obviously, but it would lean to more in, for recent consciousness of something like a Squid Game, I'd say. It's probably more like that in terms of, it's a fight to the last man in sort of weird games, weird sci-fi-esque games. I think it's going to be fun.
I actually do remember I saw it when I
right.
when I was a kid. It was one of the first. It's kind of crazy. Don't they
yes.
Don't their heads blow up if they run out or something? Or maybe that's a different Schwarzenegger one.
couldn't tell you, but I'm definitely gonna rewatch it. Maybe we could even do a rewatch for the pod. We'll do a silly episode.
I hate Arnold Schwarzenegger. No,
I love him.
Okay,
come on, then we got 2 more left. What's your fourth?
We can be quick with this one. Battle of Botkin, perhaps known as One Battle After Another. Really, no one knows the name of this movie, frankly,
but it's a coming.
It is a coming. It's got Leo. It's got acclaimed director and writer Thomas Anderson, I should say. And
yes,
you know who else it has? It has freaking Sean Penn. Got freaking
of course
Benicio del Toro. So hey,
that's a pretty stacked cast.
I'm down with that 3. That's enough.
I really like the sound of this. It's weird. I like Paul Thomas Anderson. He does like really interesting stuff. It just could be something.
We have no idea what it's about, so that's all.
You just like a little bit of Leo, don't you? You're just a bit horny for Leo.
He did direct There Will Be Blood, this guy, so I think
right.
Something good to come here. Anyway, and Boogie Nights.
I think it's one to get excited for. I think get hyped for that one. It's coming. My fourth one is Sinners by Ryan Coogler, which is coming out on the 18th of April. I'm gonna go against the grain here and say I haven't loved everything Ryan Coogler's done. Like, he's got some good movies in his back catalogue. I absolutely loved Black Panther. The second one was good too. I like what they did with that. He's fine. Like, I don't love Creed. I'm a huge Rocky guy. I felt Creed was derogative. I know it took its own direction. It just didn't need to exist. It was just to print more money. I suppose having another black voice out there is absolutely necessary. So kudos for that. But this, Sinners, his next piece looks freaking epic. Now listen to this. So it's a 1930s Jim Crow era South. The genre bending, and then we'll have vampires in it. Like, what? So it's about like the black people sort of in the South having to live in this era where they're hated and, you know, like basically second-class citizens, maybe even third. And then it's just going to turn into a vampire movie. I'm getting like a serious, like, From Dawn Till Dusk vibe from this. You know what I mean? Like, it's this serious, dark movie about, like, black people suffering in the South. And then, out of nowhere, you get this fucked up twist, and it all of a sudden becomes a vampire movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looks cool.
I'm into that. Sounds fun. I like a vampire movie.
The trailer looks sick. Yes. It's got Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld. We've already talked about Hawkeye once. She's in this. Jack O'Connell, who's weirdly in 3 of the movies that or 3 movies we've picked, who I've never even seen before. Elias Smoke, Delroy Lindo. It's just a cool cast. I like what they're going for here. It's got something, man. I don't know what it is. I watched the trailer for the first time and went, you son of a bitch, I'm in. You know?
Yeah, no. I
was like, yes.
It's a good trailer. And I mean, I like vampire stuff. That's why we just did Nosferatu. And we will do Nosferatu 1 next.
3?
You know, it's a prequel.
Yeah, a prequel.
Yeah.
What do you think about Sinners? Do you think it looks good?
Yeah. No, the trailer looks really good.
Yeah, it looks like it's got like weird genre-bending mobby elements too. Like it could be like Prohibition times. It's got that vibe to it, you know. It's got like a real something.
It's not confirmed to be a vampire movie yet. I think
He's confirmed to have vampires. Yeah, it is. It's in the trailer. There's a dude who's sucking on some blood.
Doesn't mean he's a vampire. Could just, you know, be a weird.
Could have a weird kink.
A weird guy.
This is true, DL. Maybe he just likes to suck on some blood.
Yeah. I like vampires so much that for my 5th movie, I'm picking Blade. No, it won't come out. We're not doing that. Fantastic.
It's never coming out, is it?
4 is the one I'm picking. Yeah. I'm substituting one superhero movie for another because...
I think you've said Blade last year.
I don't think I did.
And the year before.
I don't think I did.
And the year before.
Somebody did, though. Somebody at Marvel announced it.
Somebody did.
4 years in a row.
Still on the slate.
Because there's no way it's going to be good, Fantastic Four.
Wait, no way it's not going to be good? Or
no way it's going to be good. I'm calling it now.
You're excited. You're excited for it, but it's not going to be good.
I'm calling it now. I'm anticipating this movie. I'm just anticipating it to be bad.
But you're going to enjoy it.
I didn't say I was going to enjoy it. It's just anticipated.
So why is it on your most excited for list? I'm so confused.
Most anticipated. I'm highly anticipating this movie to be terrible.
Right.
It's like it's one of my most anticipated bad movies because there's just no way Marvel's going to get this right. It's harder. It's harder to.
I like everyone involved.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit these days, dude. Do you remember the Eternals where they had like every cool actor ever and it was like just the worst movie ever?
That wasn't every cool actor ever. That was like a bunch of up-and-comers. This is like serious actors. It's got Cousin from The Bear.
Look, I'd love it to be good, but I anticipate it to be bad. And in fact, I most anticipate it to be bad.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm genuine. That's probably the only Marvel property this year outside of Daredevil that I'm really excited about. Genuine. Actually, you know what? I'm excited for Thunderbolts too. I like the trailer. It looks good. I think there's going to be a trailer for Fantastic Four at the Super Bowl. When's the Super Bowl?
It's in 2 weeks. So.
Well, then. I think the first proper trailer will come out then, which is exciting.
We will know then.
I'm baffled by that. I thought you were excited for that movie. I thought you were like genuinely keen.
It's not that I'm not excited. It's just that I just don't think it's gonna. Marvel hasn't given me anything to indicate that it's gonna be good.
Yeah, agreed. It needs a shot. The MCU needs a shot now, man. It's flailing right now, and they're very rapidly approaching 2 years or however many years of Avengers movies, and I just don't know who the fuck those movies are going to be about. But this is you're anticipating badness.
I just don't know.
Mediocrity.
Yeah, like I just don't know how it could be good. Like I just see there's no scenario I see where it is good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I am actually genuinely very excited for my final one, which is 28 years later. Speaking of zombie vampires, all of those things, slated for 26th April 24. This is written and directed by two of our one of our favorite writing duos, Alex Garland and Danny Boyle, are back. They obviously did Ex Machina. Singularly, they did Annihilation 28 Days Later. Sunshine is a movie they did together. I remember when 28 Days Later came out, man. Cillian Murphy, such an incredible cast, such a different take on the zombie genre, small scale. Everything was like personal. Everything's really interesting. That came out in 2002. That's 23 years old. That can drink legally in a bar comfortably. What is happening?
Wasn't there a sequel?
Yeah, there was. It was 28 Weeks Later as well, which wasn't actually directed by those guys. It was Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, which was, 28 Weeks Later, which was good. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, the everyone in it was good, but it wasn't that original writing, directing duo. They missed a trick with 28 Months Later as well. They've skipped to 28 Years Later. But, there's rumors Cillian Murphy's returning. It's got your favorite actor, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Jack O'Connell again? Who is this guy who's everywhere? Ralph Fiennes going to be in it. Jodie Comer, Erin Kellyman. It's got like a good cast. Like there's people in this. I'm excited. I just like how their minds work together. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. Alex Garland's some writer, man. Like just thinking about back to when we did Ex Machina. That movie was freaking sick.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
He likes to bend genres. He likes to make things personal. He likes to make it real. Like it's gonna be good. And Cillian Murphy's a freaking Oscar-winning actor now.
But isn't he just gonna be a zom? I bet it's a big misdirect.
I don't know.
He's probably just gonna be a zom.
I don't know. I think he's gonna be the final boss at the end of the film.
The final zom.
He's gonna stand there and he's gonna be like, "I am 29 years later. You must defeat me."
Yeah.
I don't know why he sounds like that. In my head, I've lost it. I've completely lost it. Those are 5 movies that we are very excited for. Do you want a couple of honorable mentions?
For movies, I could care less, to be honest.
All right, well, let's pause for a second and say which of your 5. Actually, let's just put the 10 together. Of all those 10 we talked about, which is your top rated? Quickly, but give me your 5 and I'll give you mine.
Recap. Mine were Wake Up Dead Men, the Knives Out sequel, 3rd movie in the series, ongoing series. Jurassic World, New Age, Renewed, we don't know the name. Frankenstein, Battle of Botkin, and Blade / not really because it won't come out. Fantastic Four.
Nice. Mine were Mickey 17, Superman, Running Man, 28 Years Later, and Sinners. That's a lot of good movies there. I actually genuinely really excited for Wake Up Dead Man. I know it's a bit of a low-key choice. I don't know if it's the one that I'm most excited for out of all those or most anticipated of my own. Probably going to be Superman for me, but I think it's Wake Up Dead Man, Superman, Mickey 17, something like that. Those 3.
Yeah, Mickey 17 honestly looks really good.
Yeah. It's different as well. It's weird. It's wild.
Yeah, I'd agree with those.
I like it. I'm excited. Let's do some quick honorable mentions. Mission Impossible, the other ones coming out this year, Final Reckoning or something. The Smashing Machine looks really interesting. I'm genuinely excited to see that. And I had a least excited for, which yours sounds like Fantastic Four, but my least excited for is going to be, they are doing a Naked Gun remake, which is one of my all-time favorite comedies. It's up there with the likes of Airplane, it's up there with the likes of Hot Shots. It's a fantastic parody, but they're doing it with Liam frickin' Neeson.
Nice.
Liam Neeson! So it's dead to me already. Like I don't care about this.
Dead on arrival.
The guy writing it is one of the guys from Lonely Island, so like it's probably going to be good, but I just can't like it with Liam Neeson in it. It's like they've said to me, you can choose in this movie. You can either choose cake or death, and they've already run out of cake. So I'm like, all right, guess it'll be death then.
Death it is.
Do you want to quickly spin through some TV shows and/or video games that are coming out this year?
There's some cool stuff coming out. Honestly, I'm more excited for the TV shows than I am for the movies.
I'm pretty hyped for the TV stuff.
Severance, Last of Us, Yellow Jackets, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Wednesday, Stranger Things. That's a lot of good TV.
It's a lot of good TV. Oof. What are you most excited for? Anticipating?
Honestly, I'm loving Severance.
Severance is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think of things that aren't already out.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms as well. I think I will enjoy.
Okay. I think if things that aren't already out, I'm probably Yellow Jackets for me. I just like the creepy tone. I like who's in it. I like the 2 time zones. It's good.
Time zones?
Time frames? What are we talking about?
Timelines.
It's early.
Yeah.
It's early here. Give me a video game super quick then. Spin through some.
There's a bunch of cool video games coming out. GTA 6, maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see. I'm really excited for Fable, actually. I was a big fan of Fable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fable's cool.
And then there's a Ghost of Yoti, which is the sequel, Yotai. I didn't even play the first one, but they both look really cool. So that, if I ever get
Ghost
time.
of Tsushima. I actually started Ghost of Tsushima.
It
looks pretty epic. Yeah, I started it. I can't remember what happened. Something happened. I either moved apartments or whatever, and I put it down and I never picked it back up. But like, it's good. I think my problem is I am a bit obsessed with Soulsborne type games at the moment. I've just played Bloodborne for the first time. It's amazing. And now I'm like, I just want more of those games, and there just aren't that many out there that are good. So I'm like, I guess I'll just not play any of these for a while.
What else, man? There's this Monster Hunter game looks cool, and I've never played that.
Monster Hunter's cool. I've tried that before. It's a tough slog. Like, you've got to kill like a big monster or whatever. You've got to be like ready to just sink like 30, 40 plus minutes into just taking on one enemy, it running away, you refinding it, you carrying on slogging at it, maybe dying and having to start again. So like it's a tough slog, those games, but they are quite rewarding when you do put a lot of time and effort into them. Yeah,
there's not a lot of quick games these days.
No. Well, it's different though with those ones because it doesn't feel. So I played Monster Hunter World for a little bit, and it didn't feel as satisfying as like when you play like a Soulsborne game. Like, you chip away the boss. You have to work out its moves, get good at it, and be like, you have to be in it to beat it. You have to be like in the moment. You can't. There's no way of hoodwinking it. Whereas those games, I don't know, man. It just didn't feel as satisfying. Like, you just chip away, and if you died, good luck. You got to go back and do it all again.
People love them, though.
It didn't feel as fun. Yeah, they do. And that's just my own personal opinion.
No, but that doesn't sound exciting to me, to be honest. Like, I'd much rather go play the Alan Wake game that I just never played because I want to,
Right.
So,
the worlds themselves are amazing and intense and huge and vibrant, and there's loads going on. There's loads of stuff to do, and you can go a million miles out of the way and do whatever you want, but it just didn't capture me. But yeah, that one looks good. There's another one that's maybe coming out this year called Relic First Guardian, which looks intense. I really like the look of that action RPG. You know, I like my action RPGs. It's a bit of that. It's good. There's a lot of the thing with games is it's hard to say like what you're most excited for is this year because there is so much that comes out. You could either like look specifically at like a genre or a particular part, but like there are great channels on YouTube that do like things coming out in January, and it's like 50 games, and you're like, how do you even get a chance to play all these? It's impossible. So I guess we'll talk about games as they come out.
You just like don't have a career or a relationship, or
no,
definitely not.
You just can't.
Definitely not children. You don't have children. That's for sure.
Well, that's why I don't play GTA. It would just destroy my life.
The thing is, though, like for GTA 6,
you
kind of have to.
Nah, do I know?
It's going to be such a cultural zeitgeist that it's like, I feel like I'm going to have to.
Okay.
I think I will.
Play Alan Wake 2 first. Do it. Do it.
It's got to come out, though.
Guys, we appreciate you sticking with us as we talk through some of the things we have as most anticipated on our list. We'd love to know what you are anticipating. DL, do you want to tell them where they can find us?
They can find us at the podcastassemble@gmail.com, or if they
Podcast Assemble.
or if you like, pivot to Instagram. You can find us at Podcast Assemble on Instagram.
Are you okay?
You can
Have
also
you lost it? Is it late there?
You can also pivot to what do we say? What do we do? YouTube. That's the one. Otherwise, just tune in, give us a rating, that kind of cool stuff.
We love it when you do. Pass the podcast. Give someone the gift of Podcast Assemble. It makes us really happy, and it helps with ratings. We need ratings. We need more people. We need you, good listener, to help the show.
A big thank you to Matthew Bliss for editing and mastering this week's episode. If you'd like Matt to be part of your podcast team, get in touch on business@mbpod.com or head to mbpod.com to find out about his podcasting services. Want to know something funny? I actually say this every week, and still, when I had to send Matt the podcast recording, asked him,
you get it wrong?
What the email was. So, some people do dumb things, and I'm one of them. If you want to hear his work, listen to Coffee with a Podcaster. Short thought pieces on topics of podcasting shared over a cup of coffee.
Very wholesome content.
I now, listeners, my dear listeners, must say it is time to go because I'm going to go watch Severance Season 2, Episode 3, and I'm excited about it.
God damn it.
I'm really excited.
You said that as if you were like an old 50s TV show and you're about to start reading a book to children. And now, children, it is time for us to get back into the story of the Gazumpazump. Yeah, exactly. Guys, thanks so much for sticking with it. We appreciate you. We love you. Tally ho, baby.
Tally-o.
Ladies, game.